Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about the green light given by Germany to use Patriot air defense against Russian planes flying over Russia and why this German decision angered the Kremlin so much. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bells so you don't miss any news. Earlier this month of June, General Christian Freuden, head of the German Army Center dedicated to monitoring the Russian invasion of Ukraine, did not rule out the possibility of Ukraine using the Patriot air defenses provided by Germany to shoot down Russian planes and military personnel flying over Russian airspace. In the statement given to a German TV, the general said that it is perfectly understandable that Ukraine would deploy these defenses in Kharkiv to be used against Russian aircraft over Russia, with the German general assuring that the Patriot is perfect for shooting down high-altitude Russian planes and bombers involved in launching cruise missiles and glide bombs against strategic targets inside the Kharkiv Oblast. This statement came just days after German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius gave Ukraine the green light to use German weapons against Russian military targets inside Russia, relaxing a rule that allowed the use of German weapons only against Russian military targets located inside Ukrainian territory under Russian military occupation. According to NATO and the European Commission, Ukraine has the full right to defend itself against Russian attack, which includes the right to attack Russian military targets inside Russia that are directly or indirectly involved in attacks against Ukraine. And this right includes, of course, the use of weapons supplied by the West. Until then, the West had prohibited Ukrainians from attacking Russian military targets inside Russia, obliging Ukraine to use only locally designed and developed weapons to attack targets on Russian territory. But recently, since May, this rule has begun to be relaxed, mainly motivated by the opening of a new front north of Kharkiv, an attack that Russia was only able to launch because Putin was able to concentrate a large number of troops, weapons and ammunition on his side of the border. One side, as I mentioned, Ukraine could not attack with Western weapons. With the relaxation of this rule, Ukrainians now have more tactical options, being able to attack Russian military formations while still inside Russia, before they enter Ukrainian territory. Of course, this decision by the West deeply angered Russia, which now finds itself forced to defend its positions inside Ukraine as well as its positions along the Ukrainian border. But the release of the use of Western air defenses against Russian aircraft flying over Russia managed to irritate the Kremlin even more. And the reason behind all this Russian irritation is quite easy to understand, since it is through this route that Russia carries out most of its air strikes against Kharkiv and other targets in the north and northeast of Ukraine. On average, Russia launches 50 to 60 cruise missiles and drones against Ukraine every day, of which about 60% are launched from aircraft flying over Russian territory. Until now, these aircraft, usually fighters such as Su-30, Su-35 and heavy bombers such as Tu-95, always flying at very high altitude, approach to within a few dozen kilometers of the Ukrainian border to maximize the range of their weapons. They fire their missiles and then move away very quickly. Since Russia knew that, until now, Ukraine was not allowed to use Western long-range air defenses against its aircraft flying over Russian airspace, they carried out these maneuvers relatively calmly and safely, certain that they would not be bothered by Ukrainian defenses. But now, as I said, with this German decision, this has changed dramatically. The Patriot's maximum range against high-altitude aircraft is 160 kilometers, which means that if it is deployed in the city of Kharkiv, 25 kilometers from the Russian border, it will prevent Russian aircraft from approaching within 135 kilometers of the Ukrainian border. This will not prevent the launch of cruise missiles, since many Russian missiles have ranges of hundreds of kilometers, but it will prevent the launch of Russian glide bombs, which have been causing great devastation in Kharkiv in recent months. Since these bombs have a range of no more than 70 kilometers, this means that in order to reach Kharkiv, they must be dropped by aircraft at least 45 kilometers from the border. And therefore, well within the Patriot's range, these glide bombs are much cheaper than cruise missiles, and have much greater destructive power. This is why Russia has been using them more and more frequently in Kharkiv. But now, with the Patriot given the green light to shoot down any Russian military aircraft flying over Russian airspace within 100 miles of the border, Putin will have to go back to using only cruise missiles, paying a much higher price and risking losing planes and bombers to Ukraine's increasingly long-range and accurate air defenses. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bells so you don't miss any news.